Lock flows allow you to move from one point of the body to another in one continuous motion. If you taught locks and you taught them in single illustrations, then you're going to try and find those locks, and it's impossible to do that in a real fight. For example, how do you pick up someone's fingers or their wrist if they're bowling punches at you? It's difficult. If you find a reference point like the elbow or the large torso, then you can move from the waist or the elbow to something like the fingers or the wrist. But you need to know how to do it in flow. That's what a lock flow is. It gets you from one point of the body to another. It could be as damaging or as humane as possible. First of all, we'll use the fingers. The first lock I'll take from a grab. Someone grabs you here. First of all, I'm going to use my right hand. I'm going to come over and reach his last two fingers. By using this hand, if he was going to punch me, I'm protected behind my elbow. But it's going to be instantaneous because as soon as I get these fingers, down they go. Now I'm applying pressure along the seam of his arm. If there was a seam which run from the middle of his finger straight down this bone, separating the front from the back of his arm, that is the way I'm going. And for illustration purposes, the way that I point is the direction that I want him to go. The second lock would be if I actually wanted him to go backwards or take him down. I simply turn, and again, the way I point is the direction that he goes. At any point, should he stop moving, or should I stop him moving by putting my foot on his? Well, his fingers are going to go one way, he will stay still. This is a break. Only break the limb if it's essential to do that. Next is what I call a split finger lock. Two fingers are grasped. We pull apart and down to take our man to the floor. It's a very effective controlled hold. The second lock we can actually move into, and it's for escorting. So from here, it's an inverted double finger lock. Notice how his palm is on my chest, and I use my chest as a brace. And as I push in, I can walk the assailant if I need to. In a threat situation, I won't stay here. I can just break. The second came back to the split finger and then moved to double inverted. Again, notice how I stabilise his wrist, and I'm pushing, rotating around. This rotation. If I want to walk him and free up my right hand, I'll simply insert my left, grasp his wrist, and I can walk him from here. The next lock is a pop down. It's called a figure 4 two finger. I can insert, and this is another walking hold. So I can walk the assailant to and from different places. For the last, I'll bring the fingers out, and this is another walking position. I can also foot trap, and I can also insert pressure points underneath his armpit. Okay? Those are the finger locks series. The wrist lock series starts with an outside wrist lock or an outer wrist lock, moving to the outer side of his centre line. I'm using the thumb to control, and I'm applying pressure down on his fingers. All these locks serve a purpose, either to move, to take down, or to open the grasp of a fist. This is perfect if he has a weapon. From here, I can take the wrist out. Once I've got pain compliance, it's easy to remove the weapon. The second lock, I use his thumb to guide to the outside. I'm now applying pressure again down the seam of his arm. This is a definite takedown if you want to take your man to the floor. If he doesn't go, it will break his wrist. If he was to walk forward, this is actually lock number 3. This is why we flow, because now I have a V-arm wrist lock. Same principle applies. Again,